My name is Jamey Johnson. I bought my Epiphone EJ-200 from Bailey Brothers Music Store in Montgomery, Alabama in 1995. I hadn't been home long after I went through Marine Corps boot camp in Parris Island that year. Had a little bit of money and I went down to Bailey Brothers and I played every guitar they had on the wall. And I guess it must have been 4 hours worth of me checking out every one that they had. And I kept coming back to this one. It was unique and it just felt right. It felt good to me. It's got a deep V-shaped neck. And my thinking at the time was, if I get good enough playing that guitar with that deep V-neck, there won't be another guitar out there that'll give me much trouble. This one, it was a pretty good workout to play. And but it just sounded so good too, especially with the big hollow body with the sound hole open. It sounded good in the room, but it also sounded good on the amps that I was playing it through at the time. And I thought, this guitar's got the best of both worlds. No matter what I wanted to do, it was capable. And the best part about it was affordable. I think I spent about $500 on that guitar. And I made most of that back. The signatures started on Ole Maple in 1997 when I took it to a Willie Nelson concert in Auburn, Alabama. I saw a bunch of people getting in line outside his bus, and people were holding all kinds of things they wanted to get signed, and I went to the car and got that guitar. And I had Willie sign it on the side of it, not on the face like where all the signatures are today, but on the side, up top where I could see it. And he signed it, Willie Nelson, 1997. And over the years, that signature got worn off from putting it in the case and pulling it out of the case. And it was just gone. A Sharpie doesn't last too long on a lacquered up guitar if you don't cover it up and protect it with something. And so I learned a valuable lesson from that. So Willie was my first signature on there, and my second signature was put on it in 2008 by Willie Nelson when I opened up for everybody else at Farm Aid that year. That was the first year I played Farm Aid. And instead of signing it on the side like he did in 97, he signed it on the front. And the way he signed it, it was upside down if you were looking at me playing the guitar. For the first few weeks after that, I couldn't figure out why people were tilting their heads, way over to the side on the front row. And after a while, I realized they were just trying to read that signature. I thought that's one of the funniest things he ever did. And so I kind of adopted that strategy. Anytime somebody brought me their guitar to sign after that, I always signed it upside down like Willie did mine. Thought it was a good joke. And since then, I've had George Strait, George Jones, Merle Haggard, Neil Young, Emmylou Harris, Jesse Coulter, Whispering Bill Anderson, John Anderson, the Blind Boys of Alabama, Don Henley, Billy Gibbons, ZZ Top, Bob Seger, Hank Cochran, Leanne Womack, Dean Dillon, Randy Travis. Did I say Chris Christopher? I think I've about covered. Oh, Kid Rock, he signed it. Charlie Pride. It's got a lot of signatures on it, and I'm proud of each and every one of them. These were people that mentored me in my music, even before I ever met them. Teddy Gentry, Randy Owen, Jeff Cook, Alabama. And there's a lot more to put on there. We just got to get some more lacquer and keep it covered up so that we keep the signatures on there after we get them. Over the years, I've done a lot of mechanical work on the guitar. I swapped out the original tuning pegs with Grovers, and the Grovers have held up really good over the years. And we also swapped out the bridge and the nut. I think the ones that came on there were maybe plastic, and the ones that are on there now are bone. And so the tone is better, and it just lasts longer, stays in tune better. I believe somewhere around 06 or 07, I had the neck refretted. Joe Glazer did all that work up in Nashville, and Epiphone has done a lot of that work over the years. The guys at Epiphone have really taken a liking to that guitar and have done some really good work. My old friend Will Jones works at Epiphone. In fact, they call him Dr. Epiphone. He's had that guitar in their shop a lot, doing trading out pickups and that sort of thing over the years. And so maybe a more appropriate name for the guitar might be Dolly, but I call her Ole Maple. And it was because when I was growing up, my dad had this guitar that was a maple guitar, a blonde maple. And I wrote a song about that guitar called Ole Maple Guitar. And that was one of the songs that my old Marine buddies liked to hear when we were out at 29 Palms, California, or just hanging around anywhere. That if I was playing, that's one of them songs they wanted to hear me do, Ole Maple Guitar. When we first did a CAX exercise where we all went out to 29 Palms, I brought a guitar out there that was built just like my dad's guitar, and the desert ruined that guitar. I should have never taken it out there. It just got too hot and delaminated, and it just burned it slam up. But that's the guitar I actually wrote that song with, Ole Maple Guitar. But this one being maple and being one of my favorite guitars I've ever even played, and the fact that it survived one of those trips to the desert without delaminating and without tearing up, I just kind of took it as an omen. So ever since then, this has been Ole Maple.
Lord, that old maple guitar's got wood grains of gold, and that good country music just pours from your soul, and it'll echo in the airwaves till God calls us home. With an old maple guitar and a good country song.
Some of the songs that I've written on this guitar that my fans still sing along to today are High Cost of Living, the Guitar Song, which I wrote with Bill Anderson, Give It Away, that George Strait recorded. This is even the guitar I wrote Honky Tonk Badonka Donk on with Dallas Davidson and Randy Houser. I think that was around 04. I wrote a song on this guitar that Trace Atkins recorded later on called Ladies Love Country Boys. And one of my favorite songs I've ever written on this guitar was In Color. And over the years, how many thousands of shows.
That's the story of my
That guitar's been through an awful lot, and she's held up to every bit of the
right there, black and white.
demand that I put on her, and I couldn't be any more proud of any instrument than I am this guitar. It's like an old friend.
A picture's worth 1,000 words, but you can't see what those shades of gray keep covered. You should have seen it in color.